Dermott came back onto the field 7.5 minutes into the third quarter, and Allender started to fire. Port Melbourne commenced to look good. Coburg kicked 3 goals whilst Dermott was off the ground, but Port then took over, and they did it well. I just wonder if Port, who have given their all in this third quarter to take the lead, will have sufficient lead to go the full journey. Coburg, to me, appear to be gathering strength a little bit towards the concluding stages of that quarter, and I rather fancy they can get up and win it.
Well, as you can see, Coburg have been down all day. Port Melbourne leading on each change. Ted.
Yes, Phil, and also, as you can see, looking at those scores there were 15 goals scored in that quarter. And that was a tremendous quarter of football. One of the best quarters I've seen this year, both sides participating in it and both sides moving the ball very quickly upfield. I fear for Coburg's chances in this match because coming up the last quarter, Port Melbourne has always been a very good contender in the final quarter in any game they've played at Port Melbourne, and they seem to be able to come home much better, even though they will be coming home against this breeze. But full marks to both sides in that quarter, Phil. I thought they both played well, and particularly Halbert of Coburg. I thought that was outstanding.
Right, and I feel that the player who had the greatest influence on the game, particularly for the first 15 to 20 minutes in that quarter, was Allender. He came back into the game, that lifted the Port Melbourne side, and of course Dermott coming back in 8 minutes into the quarter made a difference as well. Port Melbourne have got on top. Coburg are in trouble. They need Burt firing, and he hasn't so far. Ian, the statistics on the game.
Port Melbourne kick getters. Allender, the player that Port needed to fire. He's had 7 kicks, 6 in that quarter, and kicked 3 goals in that quarter. Port Melbourne kick getters. Christo had a good game with 18 kicks. Abaya had a good quarter, 17 kicks to date, 7 coming from that quarter, and Hall's been a consistent player with 14 kicks. Coburg kick getters. Halbert, once again a good quarter, 15 kicks, 4 goals out of his 5-goal total in that quarter. Terry Don't, before he went off the ground injured, 10 kicks and 6 hand passes. Saltmarsh, 12 kicks. Port Melbourne goal kickers. Fred Cook, 2 goals, 6. Bryce, 2. 3 to Abaya. 3 to Allender, 2 to Evans and 1 to O'Reilly, and for Coburg 5 to Halbert, 2 each to Herbert and Fisher and 1 each to Burt, Westcombe, Smith and Helsel. Free kick still interesting. Coburg 55, Port Melbourne 28.
And to the lady who wrote in and asked, was that fellow talking then my son? Yes. Okay. That's the first time I've admitted it, Ian. on television anyway. All right, the three-quarter time scores. Port Melbourne 14-18, 102. Coburg 13-8, a total of 86. Bill Barrett, what's the position over there at Toorak Park after this break? Seidel and the $50 in cash, and of course not forgetting the Puma boots and the Puma bag with the international flash of brilliance. And then we have the Gillette Mark of the day, and we've seen 3 beauties here so far today, and that player will receive $50 in cash and the Gillette products. Just repeating, three-quarter time scores, 14-18 Port Melbourne to Coburg's 13 goals 8, and it's warming up for a fantastic final quarter. Well, before we sign off today, we'll be able to give you, I would imagine, the result of all matches being played today. And as I said earlier, the vital part about it all, that was Ted Henry's behind us then, but the vital part about it all is the Preston-Paran game, and Preston are right on top of Paran. There's the scores coming through. Well, have a look at that. Paran obviously look as though they're going to lose. They're 39 points down. Now, it means either the Dandenong side have to win to get into the Final Four, or we have to get Sandringham in. That game doesn't mean anything as far as the Final Four is concerned, but this one does. And it's only 3 points the difference between Dandenong and Camberwell. So Dandenong are in the 4 on those scores at the moment. How will they be in another 25 or 30 minutes' time? Let's have a look at Sandringham. Sandringham are within striking distance of Geelong West. So Sandringham are only 15 points down. The wind would be blowing straight down the ground, so maybe Sandringham have the wind in the final quarter. So, taken all in all, it's an exciting finish coming up, not only to this game, but to the other games. Now, Bill Barrett is over at the Toorak Park ground. Just another quick score on the big game there in the second division second semi-final between Brunswick and Yarraville. Bill?
Yarraville 13-9, 87. Brunswick 16-12, 108. And Yarraville coming back hard.
Righto, Bill, and you can see them battling in hard there. Rain is starting to fall here as we take you down to Rob Asprey.
Well, Colin Kinnear told his Coburg players one thing will win this game, and that's a real disciplined effort. He emphasised no crowding on the forward line, play on at every chance, and he threw out a real challenge to his players. As for Gary Bryce, well, he told them that more concentration is needed on winning the game and not kicking a 100th goal. In fact, he told players who were signing autographs out there to stop it and get on with the game. In fact, both coaches were very impressive. They obviously both want to win. It's a vital game for them, and I think we're going to see a great last quarter. That's what the coaches said, Phil.
Right, Rob, and we're just waiting now on the players to get into it for the final quarter. Rain falling. Listen to that buzz of excitement around the ground. Umbrellas are up everywhere here at the moment. Look at them around the fence. There goes the siren signal to the timekeepers. And the next 30 minutes will tell. It'll be a late finish, as I mentioned earlier, as Beattie went up to the knockout, but Anderson got it back over his head, comes down towards Goss, coming out as Allender, fast to take the mark. He screws around, has the kick smothered, he'll punch it away, right upfield, and it didn't go through towards the player in Christo. He couldn't break away, and Wilkinson was pushed in the back, and Wilkinson of Port Melbourne will receive the free kick. Well, how would you feel over there? That was Burt, who hasn't had the best of days. He didn't against Port Melbourne last time. He's had 12 kicks, which is down for Burt. He had 27 last week. So here is the red-headed fellow coming in Wilkinson, puts it on its way, it'll drop short, be pushed away, taken away by Halbert. Halbert gets it out towards the half-back line. Wilkinson again racing after it, but it'll beat him over the line and out of bounds again. So let's check off the scoreboard here. Port Melbourne 14-18, 102. Coburg 13-8, 86. Again it comes again. Up go the big fellows. And Anderson getting the knockout again, but it eventually ends up here with Halsell. Halsell goes downfield with the kick up towards the Westcombe. Westcombe takes a good mark, tucked it right under the arm there as he moved into it. Don't forget Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock tonight on 10. There it goes. You'll see highlights of this. And it comes off the hands of the pack, comes through to Johnson. And Johnson went for the hand pass. A very dangerous one to Davies. Davies with a further hand pass. Gets it across to O'Neill. O'Neill hesitant in trying to get the direction in which he was going to kick, but then puts it to the half-back line. No, pushing the back out there. The umpire allows the play to continue. It comes back to Westcombe, and Westcombe gets the lead from centre-half forward. Up they fly, off the hands of the players here, and there's Tolley moving into the ball. Will he get away with it? Gets the hand pass in, and it eludes Herbert. Comes through here, with the hand pass coming out towards Swan. Swan with a little short kick upfield, and Evans comes in to take the mark. He'll race away from his opponent, tried to bounce. He gets tagged, holding the ball, it must be. And well done by Beattie. Beattie's being held here. Well done, Beattie. He comes in now from the half-back line. Anderson waits underneath the ball. Has it punched away from him. Comes through towards Frank Johnson. Johnson can't get it away. There's the player in Cleary coming into it. He couldn't break away. Should be able to pick him up easy enough with the beard. Anderson goes for the wide hand pass out towards Davies. Davies, if he can trap it. Good shepherding there by Goss. Davies with his kick up towards Allender, and Allender has taken the mark. Since he's fired, he's made all the difference. Oh, he's getting the lead from Evans on the other side of the ground. Would have been a foolish pass to undertake. Allender now lines them up, puts it high in the air. This will allow Cook to come in underneath it, but it'll be punched away and goes through for the 1 point. So that takes Port Melbourne on to 14-19, 103 to Coburg's 13-8, 86. Here's the ball being returned. Bill.
Well, you wouldn't want a game to be much more tense than this one is and has been during the course of the day. Only 17 points of difference. Coburg yet to get into attack properly in this quarter, and the ball straight down the centre of the ground to the centre. A chance for Fisher. Fisher can't take it out, but Herbert had the opportunity. Davies, number 12 of Port Melbourne, doing well to get it across there. In hot pursuit is Herbert. Herbert goes to the ground, and the umpire thinks he was put. Well, Herbert will get the free kick. There he is now, and he's getting a 15-metre penalty to boot. And that brings him up to the half-forward flank. Herbert kicking with depth up towards a full forward spot, and a good mark to Port Melbourne, taken in the last line of defence by O'Neill. There he is, O'Neill. Port Melbourne kicking wide to the grandstand or members' flank. Burt comes in. This is the man they want to fire. Hand passing very quickly up there. Across there to Halson, and he couldn't handle it. free kick will go to Port Melbourne and be taken by Swan. Swan in towards the centre of the ground. Halbert must be nearly Coburg's best player. Halbert has kicked 5 goals and now he gets it across field to Tolley. Tolley will take the mark and Coburg rushing into attack. That's more methodical and they eventually get it to the half-forward line, and we've seen Port Melbourne kick a goal or two from about that position. This time it will be Hartigan's opportunity for Coburg.
He's a long way downfield too, Bill, from the back pocket.
He is. There's the kick, and it's got accuracy. It's a goal. A good goal to Coburg. It is 14-19 to 14-8. Olympic Tyres scoreboard. Coburg 11 points away from Port, about to take it out of the centre, but the umpire said, I'll have it and do it all over again. Right in the centre of the ground, as you can see. Pakistan. 11 points the difference. 5.5 minutes into the quarter, and Coburg into attack. Another one from Bird up towards full forward. That was a great mark to O'Neill. A magnificent mark. And O'Neill defending beautifully, has thrashed Smith all day. A beautiful mark and a good kick, a well-directed kick until it goes over the head of his players to Halsell. Halsell to Milroy, back to Halsell. Can't handle it, ducked into the tackle. Play on was the call. And Coburg getting away, but it'll be Swan to relieve the pressure for Port Melbourne by getting it over towards Anderson, who thumped it close to the line. And the umpire has elected to give a free kick to Port Melbourne, and it's Wilkinson. 11 points the difference, and Wilkin to Goss. Gets Port mobile. Goss from centre wing. Spears it up towards centre half forward. Coburg's Nimmo was in there. They don't know what to do with it. Abaya comes out of the pack. Looking over here, a chance for Douglas. Douglas to clear. Hot pursuit there is Cook. Very close to the boundary line. Douglas taking it over. Got the nudge from Christo. That's got to be holding the ball. That was a clanger. It's going to be thrown in. Douglas happy to get away with that result. And look at that big Port Melbourne umbrella.
Reitner comes back in. Allender tries to punch it away, but it's punched away by Beattie. Over to Saltmarsh. Saltmarsh gets it to Fisher. And Fisher now will put Coburg into attack. There it goes up towards the half-forward line. Robert Smith leading right out. That's Smith right out there, but it's a pick-up here by Tolley. Tolley high in the air towards centre half-forward. Forced wide, and this is Hall. He's played consistently all day. Getting the hand pass into Swan. It comes up towards the centre of the ground, but who's waiting? Beattie, the skipper of the Coburg side. Yarraville 14-11, still down on Brunswick's score of 16-14. As it goes towards centre half forward, Halbert takes the shot for goal, and it could be a goal. It's a beautiful goal by Coburg. Look at them. Well, they've turned the light on down here at Port Melbourne. It's very overcast. They've got one solitary light, and they've got that on, and it's standing out like a lighthouse at the moment here on the outer wing position. Well, there's Christo now. 5 points the difference. The ball comes up towards Port Melbourne's half-forward line, and it comes back off the hands of Pack to Goss. Goss puts it high in the air. Fred Cook's backing into it. Can he take the mark? He tried. He goes in the goal, and it's his 100th. Fred Cook at last. After 4 desperate tries, and look at the crowd of kids. The police are moving in. Fred Cook is being absolutely smothered out there at the moment. A desperate lunge at the ball by Cook with the boot, and he's put it through for his 100th for the season. Good work, Fred Cook, and this is what he says about 100 goals in association football today.
Fred, you've kicked 100 goals on 4 occasions prior to now. How important was this time for the ton?
Probably not a thing. Others, because of such a big occasion today. This is probably the best game of football that the viewers are going to see for the season, and probably if it had happened a couple of weeks ago, there would have been more emphasis on it, but obviously it'll be nice to get it over and done with early.
A lot of pressure on you today.
I'm sure there is, because I've missed the last 2 weeks, and obviously when you're out of football for 3 weeks, which it will be, it takes a little while to get back into touch, but I'm hoping that the younger players coming down the ground will remember where they left off at Preston.
Do you expect any reaction from the crowd? I mean, they're very loyal, the Port Melbourne supporters.
Particularly from the kids. You know, I think in years gone by, when I kicked 100 goals, the kids tend to jump over the fence, but they're entitled to that, and they put the effort in to come along and see me play, and you know, I'm obliged to look up to them.
What's more important, the 4 points today or that 100 goals?
Oh, the game, Rob, by far.
Well, Rob Asprey then talking with Fred Cook, and this is how he kicks his 100 goals. Comes into the hands of Fred Cook, off the hands of his opponent, and Cook then absolute ecstasy, puts the arms up in the air and says, at last. Rob Asprey.
Yes, well, I don't think anyone would argue he's a great showman, but no one would begrudge him that, because he certainly earned those goals. And as Ted said before, there was enormous pressure on Freddie Cook today, and I think he showed that by, well, the last couple of goals or shots he had, he missed them. Normally he wouldn't have missed those kicks.
Rob, I'd just like to mention that is the 5th time that Fred Cook has kicked 100 goals in a season in VFA football and has taken his grand tally to 872 goals. Now, that's a magnificent performance.
Yes, well, we now call him Melb Cook. And quite a few people in the crowd were, as I walked out at three-quarter time. Melb Cook, Melb Freddie Cook. Congratulations anyway, Freddie. There's the bounce back in the centre of the ground, and now Port Melbourne can concentrate on winning the game rather than worrying about Fred Cook kicking a ton. Here's the kick now by Wilkinson, right down to the centre half forward position. Fred Cook is in the action again, but there's been an infringement, and the umpire will pay a kick to Coburg. Douglas it is who will take the kick. Freddie Cook, the man of the moment on the mark, but Douglas decides to play on. He takes one bounce. There's his kick now, coming out to the half-back flank position. Westcombe is there. Should have got a free kick, I felt. Picked up by Swan of Port Melbourne. He decides to handball in front of him. Gets the run of the ball again, but not before it goes over the line and out of bounds. On the outer side of the ground, the wing position. The big men who will contest it on this occasion will be Amundsen and the captain, Beattie. The big crowd on its toes at the moment. There's the bounce. It's knocked down by Vic Amundsen. Immediately, Christo is brought to the ground, but he'll get a free kick. Christo on the wing position will drive the ball into the scoring zone. No, he decides to handball to Wilkinson, his teammate. There's the kick now by Wilkinson, down to the full forward position. Getting up is Allender, and he's taken a great mark. Oh, this player is, there's no doubt about Allender. I gave him a bagging before. I felt that he wasn't concentrating on his football. Well, now I've got to change my tune, because he's playing great football, and he's one of the reasons that Port Melbourne have come right back on top. 3 goals at the moment. Here's the mark again. Ted, tell us about it.
Yes, and you'll see Allender there in top flight there and back to his very best, Rob, with a great mark at centre half forward, and he's kicked the goal. Right through the middle, and a great goal to Allender. Well, Phil, at this stage, would you care to pick a winner?
Well, I picked the winner before the match, Rob. That was Port Melbourne. And I still think that they'll win it now from here. They're 17 points up, but they would still have at least, I would say, 20 minutes to go in this game.
Well, I wouldn't be that confident, Phil, but we'll just wait and see. Port Melbourne, 16-19, 115. Coburg, 15-8, 98. And here's Bill Jacobs.
Out of the centre, Port got it out too through Anderson, who's played pretty well today. Wilkinson thumps it a little bit further for them, but Burt, who hasn't been able to get in the game to any great extent, overran it. The ground quickly, and Port get it out of attack up towards the centre wing, and that's Pitt. Pitt of Coburg, and they'll have to hasten. They've got to close this gap pretty quickly if there to be a chance. Pitt through centre half forward, and a good strong mark to Port Melbourne in the last or second last line of defence, as it were, at centre half back. Johnson kicking now from centre half back after taking the mark over to centre.